Yep. All right, great. So yes, we are recording, and welcome. Hello, my friends. First, let me thank everyone for taking time out of your busy day, because I know nowadays are very busy for everybody, to jump on this Zoom. I also wanted to thank the speakers that have come together tonight as a team, because that's what Xyngular is. We're all a team and we all help each other. We were talking about that before everybody got on, how it doesn't matter what line you're on, but we all support each other, and that's huge. Our community is wonderful with Xyngular. So once again, put in the comments who invited you so that we have that information for possibly some goodies. But anyway, I'm going to start us off today, or this evening. My name is Jackie Howard, and I have been with Xyngular about 3 years. We all know that our products are the best on the market, and we know that they work. But during this Zoom, we are gonna see that our best product is our opportunity, the opportunity of becoming an X brand partner. So I always ask, who couldn't use an extra $500,000 or more every month? I am a nurse practitioner. I'm a program director at our community technical college in Statesboro, Georgia, teaching nursing. So I have been, like I said, I've been an X brand partner now for 3 years. I have been able to finish paying off an in-ground pool. I have purchased a camper that we lived in for 10 months while we were building a house. So now our house is built and we're in it, but so we don't need that camper anymore, but it sure did come in handy when we needed it to have a roof over our head. So thank you to Xyngular. I also cover my products monthly, because I know for sure I do not ever want to stop taking my products because I love them so much. So we have set up the Zoom with some of the best X brand partners, and I can't wait for you to meet them all and listen to what they have to say. So first up is Cora Hoffman. She is one of our top leaders in the company who so graciously agreed to jump on this Zoom with us. She's actually on a road trip and going from Florida to Maine with her mother and daughter. But she is so passionate about this opportunity that she agreed to pull over and jump on with us. So take it away, Cora.
Well, I'm really bad not pulling over because it's been 12 freaking hours and we're getting to Maine no matter what. It's okay. I'm hands-free driving, right? So anyways, I live in South Florida and we are headed to Maine. My daughter actually goes to college at ABAC in Georgia, and she's doing her internship, which is funny. She knows exactly where Statesboro is. She's like, oh, she's in the, hey, Morgan. Hey. So we're on our way to Maine for her to do her internship for college, because she'll be a senior next year, graduating with a degree in communications. So anyways, my story starts 4 years ago. At that point in time, I had been a nurse for 19 years. I've now been a nurse for 23 years. I was super stressed out. My boss hired a new boss for me. My boss hired a new boss for me, a regional director, and she literally was making my life a living hell. My job, I was a home health case manager for Nurse on Call of Bradenton, and it was the job I thought I would be with forever. I thought, this was my most favorite job. I loved it. I loved my patients. I thought I had found the real deal, and this was it, right? This is where I was going to retire from. And then she came on board. I went from, and it was right around the same time that I found Xyngular, which was super ironic. And, but everything happens for a reason, right? So at that point in time, I had also been suffering with menopause. I went into menopause super early. pre-ovarian cancer. I'm not cancer, geez Louise. Pre-ovarian failure. You have to, we've been in the car for 12 hours. So pre-ovarian failure is what it was, which is just a fancy term for menopause before you turn 40. Yay me. And so I had been suffering for about 7 years at that point, and I, had all of the symptoms, if you know what I'm talking about, and the worst of them all was the weight gain. I had put on about 60 pounds, and I had tried everything to lose it and failed. And it was just horrible. So when I saw a complete stranger on Facebook. That's how I found Xyngular. Complete stranger on a Sunday afternoon doing a Facebook Live about her weight loss, and she was talking about her 50-pound weight loss. And I, wasn't really I was not a frequent scroller on Facebook. I literally use Facebook very, very, very seldom. And I had about 400 friends, and I probably could have called every single one of them on the phone and talked to them. And and I would delete people if I didn't know them. I was that girl. And so it was really kind of strange that I was on Facebook, but I was scrolling. And I saw her doing a Facebook Live. I had no idea who she was. But I stopped for some reason at her talking, and she said she lost 50 pounds and kept it off for 5 years. Well, that sparked my interest right away. And so I ended up listening to her whole spiel, and then I commented underneath it, and I was like, so what are you doing? Well, we ended up in a chat, and I didn't believe she was real. I thought it was a scam. So I'm like, okay, I need you to call me, because I don't believe you're real. And she called me that night, and we ended up talking on the phone. And I knew at the end of that conversation, I was like, okay, I want the biggest bundle you got, because I had 60 pounds to lose, and I wasn't going to mess around with, all the other things. And then she told me the price, and I about fainted on the floor. I was like, oh, so it's that much? And at that time, it was the ultimate, and it was like $549 at that point. And I truly couldn't afford it. But even if it would have been $1, I wouldn't have been able to afford it, because I was negative in my account that day. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. At this point in time, I had my kids. This one over here in the seat had just turned 17. My son, I have a son a year younger. He had just turned 16, and we were already way beyond our means. And then we had them driving. So it just was putting us behind. It was putting us behind. We were at a point where we started thinking, like, how are we going to send them to college? Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And yada, yada. That's kind of where we were. And we were broke as a joke. I mean, robbing Peter to pay Paul every single month. And so anyways, I told that girl, I said, I would love to order tonight, but I seriously can't afford it. So if somebody ever tells you they can't afford it, believe them, because that was me. I couldn't. But I knew, this was something that I was totally going to do. I just didn't have the money right then and there. And I said, you know what, I will call you. I don't know how or when or what I'm going to do, but I'm going to get the money and I'm going to call you. Well, 3 weeks later, thank God, my husband got a bonus check at work, and I did not even tell him. I just called her up, and I ordered the biggest system and hopped on an 8-day jump start. And in 8 days, my mind was completely blown. I was like, all going I set an alarm on my phone, because I knew there was the 45-day money back guarantee, and I knew I was sending this shit back. I'm just saying. And so I set an alarm on my phone for 30 days, because I was like, okay, when this thing goes off, you're going to reevaluate. And if you're not losing weight and whatever, like they say so, that I'm sending it back. She said, I got 100% money back guarantee. And so in the first 8 days, to my surprise, I ended up losing 6 pounds. And thankfully, I listened to her and I measured, because I lost 15 and a half inches off of my body. So and then she said, send me your pictures. And I was like, oh God. Well, I sent her my pictures just like she said. And she sent them back to me side by side. And I was blown away. I mean, honestly, I went from looking like I was about 12, 13 months pregnant to about 7 months pregnant. And I decided I was going to post those pictures on my Facebook wall. I was not a business partner. In fact, I told her, hell no. I didn't say no, no, no. I said, nope, never, absolutely no. I will never do that. I said I tried something in the past before and I sucked at it and I would never, ever do it again. Well, by the next morning after I posted that picture, I had 148 messages from my friends and family begging me for my link. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that. You know what? I live in Florida. Nobody in Florida knows about this, obviously knows about this company. And they all want my link. So I upgraded to a business partner that day. And in the first 30 days, I ended up losing 18 pounds. So by the time that alarm went off, I was down 18 pounds. My symptoms were completely gone. I had more energy than I knew what to do with. And it very quickly became more of I can't believe how great I feel versus how much weight am I losing? It was really a strange transition for me because I was a scale Nazi as well. So anyways, in the first 30 days, I was down 18 pounds and I ended up making $894. I was like, I actually made money. Like I can spend that money. And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to call. So I actually called 1-800 Xyngular and said, is this money for me? Am I allowed to spend this money? Like that's where I was because I didn't have the money to pay him back. If I was going to go and freaking spend the money, I didn't have it to pay him back. So I wanted to make sure. And they said, yep, you can. And you know what? And just so you get an idea of where I was, I remember paying my electric bill. That was late. Paying my car payment. That was late. And I gave this girl over here in the seat next to me $100 to go to Target and shop. And that was 30 days in. Well, fast forward 5 months later, I replaced my income as a full-time nurse. And at that point, the toxicity in the office had gotten so bad. Like I was either quitting no matter what. But what happened is I was, at that point making between $5,000 and $6,000 a month, 5 months in, doing it part-time. And I said to my husband, I'm going to do this full time and see what happens. Holy cow, if I'm making this much money. I mean, I was a believer. At that point, I was down 40 pounds. I felt like a completely different person. And I decided to quit that job and do Xyngular full time. And 7 months after that, I was making $10,000 a month. And in under 2 years, I was making $15,000 to $20,000 a month. And that's where I'm at now. I've earned 12 all expense paid trips all around the world. My top 3 favorites are the first one was number 1 is Bora Bora. You guys, it is everything you could imagine times a million. My second favorite place was Dubai. Number 3 was Cabo that we just went to in January. But I've been able to, stay home with my kids during COVID. My husband was able to come home, retire from his super stressful job back in 2021. And we're debt free. So I've been doing this for 4 years and you know what, it's been super surreal. I was actually at my sister's house last night in Virginia and I was thinking back and, there would have been no freaking way this trip right here would have ever happened if it was not for Xyngular. You know what I mean? My daughter is going to an internship in Maine. And she called me and she was like, Mom, I got accepted to the place that she really wanted to go. She's, by the way, she's going to a spike cider place. Anyway, we won't get into that because I'm going to be on here for 3 hours. Sorry. But you know what I'm saying? This would have never happened. Had I been a nurse, if there's nurses on here or anybody in the medical field, you're a nurse practitioner, there would have been no way. I'd have been like, hey, 2 weeks ago, I need to be off for a week to take my daughter up the entire East Coast of the United States. And I'll be back maybe Tuesday or Wednesday because I still don't even know when I'm going back home. No, absolutely would have never happened. So anyways, I'm going to shut up now and let the other girls talk. But thank you so much for having me on. And you know what? I hope you guys decide to join us. I mean, what are you waiting for? Anyways, thank you.
Thank you, Cora. All right. So Next up, we have Jamie Cole. And Jamie is a paramedic. She lives in Westport, Indiana. She's a busy mom, but I did notice one thing. One of her favorite titles probably is being the best Mimi. So she's rocking this business as an ex-brand partner. So Jamie, take it away.
Thank you guys so much for having me. And as you can see, still not completely done. I actually just finished up. I volunteered for a shift to let you know where I was at and to tell you a little bit about me. I'm a crazy, busy mom of 8, Mimi to 4. And I was a paramedic supervisor working 12-hour nights and 24-hour shifts. Anybody in the healthcare field knows right now that there is just not enough of us to go around, no matter what you do. I was overworked. I was stressed. I loved what I did, but I didn't love what it did for me, if that makes sense. I didn't feel valued the same way. I just was exhausted. This was right as COVID came in when I was introduced to this company a little over 2 years ago. And I was looking for weight loss because I had lost or I had gained weight. Just life happens. You know how it goes. But I had no time. I didn't even know where I was going half the time. I was passing myself coming and going all the time. So when I was introduced to this company, I found out it was results of refunds. I said, you know what? I really want to give this one last shot because I had a cabinet full of failures and I didn't like where I was. And so I did. And they told me the price and I scrimped and scraped and put it together. And here's the reason, I didn't think I needed a second income. I was doing pretty well, but we still doing well. I mean, there's like broke, medium broke, high broke, you still didn't have any extra. And as a budget conscious mama, any of you guys out there know that you're stretching every penny, you're couponing, you're trying to see what you can get free. So the very first thing I said is, hey, if this stuff works, I can't afford to take it out of my budget every month. Because what happens if the electric bill's high or the kids need braces or, all of the regular life stuff. And here lately, there's been a lot of life stuff. And she's like, well, you can share it with your friends. And I'm like, I am not a sales girl. I am way too honest. I am really upfront person and I don't have the time. But you know what I found? Sorry, I dropped something. Is that all of those reasons I gave, I'm too busy and all of this other stuff is exactly the reason that I needed this. So I ended up sharing with my friends and getting my products paid for before they even came in the mail. And this was my plan B, my fun money. It was so nice because we get paid daily. And in the medical field, a lot of times you get paid every 2 weeks or every month. That's really hard to budget. I mean, some of you guys are way more responsible than me, but for me, it was really hard to budget. And, if you had something coming up, you're like, I'm not going to pay that bill quite yet because in case XYZ. But we got paid daily, so I didn't have to do that. So my bills started being paid on time. I had extra money when the kids wanted to go out to eat. But I didn't have to type in everything I threw in my grocery cart to make sure that card didn't beep and decline while my kids were watching, those type of things. I made me a birthday fund, a Christmas fund, and then it was a vacation fund. And this was great. I'm sharing. I'm lost 40 pounds. I lost 9 pounds in my first 8 days, went on to lose 40 pounds. I've been maintaining it now for 2 years. And I'll tell you what, I thought I was doing great. This extra little fun money, that's what it was for me, fun money, because I didn't take it serious because I was an idiot. You think you're safe. You never know if you're guaranteed tomorrow. And I learned that the hard way when 8 months into my journey, they called us in and did COVID cutbacks and I lost my job. And they had no remorse. I had been there for 10 years. They didn't care. They didn't care that I had kids to feed. They didn't care that I didn't know what I was going to do. They didn't care about any of those things. And at the same time with Xyngular, I had earned a $500 bonus. And I was supposed to get a $500 COVID bonus from my business or from my job. And they told me I was no longer eligible for it because it was going to come on the paycheck after my last day. And on that same day, I got a phone call from Xyngular and nobody was doing anything. The world was shut down. We were healthcare workers, we were getting our butts handed to us, working, on the front lines of everything. And they called me and said, hey, are you home today? And they drove in and they handed me my $500 bonus from them. They drove to my house in a little bitty Podunk, Indiana, and handed me my bonus because they said, we want you to know how much we appreciate you. I'd been with the company less than 6 months. Now you think about that and you compare it to the 10 years that I had put in my heart and soul in this other job. That's when I knew I am in the right place at the right time. I didn't know how I was going to keep food on the table. I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. But this community here, it picks you up and builds you up. And it doesn't matter if they're cross line, sideline, if you've never met them before, they will cheer you on. This company saved my life physically, emotionally, and financially. I was able to stay home with my kids for 6 months. I was able to keep food on the table. I was able to go back to work because I wanted to, because I do love being a paramedic. But for the first time in my life, not because I had to. And that was huge. That was absolutely huge. No one in my family has ever retired. No one in my family is, that's just not what we do. We work and we work and we work until we can't work no more. That's it. And I found something that helped me to be better than that, to help me to have more than that. And in 2 years, it has changed absolutely my entire life. I have been on 6 all expense paid trips for 2 from a girl from Indiana that's surrounded by cornfields that never had traveled before in her life. It has made me a substantial income, like I said, to where I cannot have to work. And so that I can be the best me that I can be, I get the appreciation, the value. You can work as hard as you want to work and you get rewarded for that. It's not like your regular job to where you don't get rewarded. They get to determine what you get. It's not the same. You get to decide. You are in control and you can make this as big or as small as you want. And if you're busy and you're crazy busy and you don't know how you're going to make it work, trust me, you work it in the nooks and crannies of your day. It's consistency. And this is a market that everybody needs. I swear to you, I feel 10 years younger. You can ask anybody that knows me. I feel like I'm aging backwards, but it is absolutely, the products are amazing. And even more so is the income opportunity, that it can be anything you want it to be. And I just hope that you can feel that. If you have that same pain point that I did, if you are struggling with any of those struggles, if you felt any of those things that I'm feeling, take the chance on you. I'm telling you, you are in the right place at the right time. And this is the right vehicle to get you exactly where you want to be. So I'm going to introduce next Jana Dyer, and she is a former dental hygienist. She is a crazy busy mom too, of 2, a rancher wife, and she is going to tell you a little bit about her journey. And I cannot wait to see you guys become our next partner. I think Jana's there.
Yes, I am. I just unmuted myself. Thank you guys so much for being on here. And I am going to wrap things up. And so I'm Jana Dyer from rural Kansas. And I've been with the company for 13 years. And I am a former dental hygienist. I did that for 23 years. And actually, my friend called me about the income opportunity. And she said, oh my gosh, this company's going to be big. You need to take a look. And at the time, you guys, I was so busy, I didn't have time to tie my shoe, let alone add something else to my plate. So drop a 1 in the comment section if you can relate to that. And my kids were 7 and 11 at the time. And we are kind of a rodeo family. And, that's a very expensive lifestyle. And how many of you feel out there that even if you make good money, there's just never enough wiggle room? And there's too much month at the end of the money. Well, that's kind of where we were at. And some things changed in our lives financially. And I won't go into the details, but we definitely needed, a plan B. And the reason I was definitely open is I'm an opportunist. One of the reasons was I did get started on the products because even though I was a size 6 when I started out, I believe in supplementing and I believe in prevention and health. And I wanted to support my friends. So I got started on the products. And prior to getting started, I was the tired, crabby mom that would come home from work and just want to check out physically, mentally, and emotionally. Put a me in the comment section if you can relate to that. And that first day, you guys, I knew we had a winner to take to market. I got my spark back. I got my happy back. And when mom's happy, everybody's happy. Lost 6 pounds, 4 inches in the first 8 days. I'm now in my 50s and I've pretty much maintained that for, 13 years. And we have a good income opportunity. This is a good business because we have good products. So anyway, I told my friend, listen, I don't have time to tie my shoe. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I found pockets in my day, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there to do this part-time. And I treated it like a part-time business, not a hobby. And, did it right alongside my dental hygiene career for 5 years. And I decided when I started making more than the dentist, like twice as much as the dentist was bringing home, that I had the option to, you know, walk away from that career and be where I needed to be and be where my heart, you know, wanted me to be. And I'm not saying that to brag, but I mean, where else can you go and do a part-time gig and make more than a doctor? And that's the only reason I'm saying that and able to do that is because we've helped a lot of other people along the way put $500 in their pocket, put $1,000 in their pocket and get healthier. And so the first thing it did, you guys, was just take the pressure off, create some wiggle room in the bank account to not have to check the balance every day when you made a purchase. And another thing it did, in the beginning, I was so excited. We were able to pay off our truck 7 months early. And that was such a big deal to get that title in the mail, saying paid in full. It replaced my husband's income, so he could actually be home to homeschool our child. And that was a big, big thing, probably saved my son's life. But anyway, paid for college, you know, picked up the tab to help my dad stay in one of the best nursing homes facilities that was close to us. Without Xyngular, we wouldn't have been able to do that. And just the freedom, you know, to be where I needed to be when I wanted to be. It's kind of like I get to live the and life versus the or life. What I mean by that, before it was always go to work or be where I wanted to be with my kids and activities. Now it's work where I want and be where I want. Both my kids were college athletes, and we were the parents that got to leave on Wednesday and go to all of the home away games or away events and in the stands. And we were that parent that got to travel with, you know, the team. It was amazing. And we didn't get to miss that because it's like, you know, you can always make more money, but you could never get back time. And we could never, you know, get back the opportunities of watching our kids do what they want. So it's not all about the money, but it's about choices. And this is not a get rich quick scheme by any means. And if you're looking for that, you might as well hop off. But what they say is when you're looking for a business, to find a problem that 7 out of 10 people have in a room and solve it better than anybody. And that's what we have over here is impact products. People are like, well, what sets your business apart than, you know, other companies? Because there's a lot of great companies out there. I love this industry. Sorry, I'm talking way too fast. But what sets us apart product wise is we have products that people can see and feel a difference in within an hour, some of them. Wouldn't you agree? We live in a drive-through instant society that people want to see results now. And as far as the company goes, this is a company that the average person can have success because our compensation plan is set up. We pay daily, where the average person can have success that's working. And most people that are doing this as a supplementary income. So with that being said, you know, Xyngular is a 13-year-old rock solid company. We lead the industry in our travel program. We lead the industry with our products because we've been, you know, had so many of our products have been awarded, you know, like product of the year. We lead the industry in culture and community because everybody's on one team. And we definitely lead in the compensation plan. And so also, you know, when I said find a problem that 7 out of 10 people have and solve it better than anybody, we now have, you know, a problem that 10 out of 10 people have, and that is gut health. Gut health, you guys, I don't know, unless you're living under a rock, you've heard about probiotics, you've heard about collagen, you've heard about the importance of good gut health. Well, guess what? Our products, when people experience them, they get results. And gut health is now a $30 billion industry. It's expected to grow to $80 billion. And to be able to take that to market and have a piece of that 80 billion that it's supposed to grow is huge. And so I just, as we wrap things up, you know, do the pillow test. If you go to bed tonight and you never think of this again, it's probably not for you. And we invite you to be a customer because everybody can benefit. And you're going to love experiencing our products. But if you're like, should I, shouldn't I? Oh, this is my 3rd company and I failed before. Guess what? This is my 5th company and my last company. You know, reach out to the person that invited you on here. People ask, can I do it? Will you show me how? And the answer is yes, you can definitely do it at no matter what level you want to come in. If you want to do it a little bit and cover your products, we can help you. If you want to make $500 to $3,000 a month, we can help you as long as you're coachable, willing, and hungry. We will partner with you. If you want replaceable income, we can help you do that. If you want to travel, if you like to travel, that was my hot button. We can help you do that too. And how I built my business, you guys, was just try to earn the next trip, because that's like a hot button for me. And so, yeah. And yeah, can I do it? Will you show me how? The answer is yes. And yes, we will show you how, step by step by step. And so thank you so much for being on here. Thank you for having this. Thank you for putting it together. This is going to be recorded. So if you want to listen to this later, if you want to have your spouse listen to this, if you want to, if you just started and you're like, oh my gosh, such and such needs to hear this, get the word out, you guys. Our job is just to plant seeds, and we are looking for low-hanging fruit, because there's people looking for us and we're looking for them. So thank you guys. Thank you, Jesus, for giving us all eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart to understand the true gift we have here. So I will turn it back over to you, Jackie.
Great. Thank you so much. And I wanted to just say one more thing. I did put into the comments the income summary. So if anybody is interested, I would be willing to share my screen. But just really quick, just so you can see, this is the income summary. So pretty life-changing income. And I am a platinum director right now. And so, you know what? Join us. Like she said, we'll help you. And we love everybody. We love on everybody. So what's the saying? We rise by lifting others. So let's all rise together. Y'all have a great night. Thank you for jumping on. And once again, let the person that invited you know that you're ready to join us. Bye, guys.